They thought she could destroy his night with one cruel trick. What nobody expected was that kindness would turn a setup into something beautiful. In the dimly lit elegance of La Verite, a restaurant reserved for the elite, Adrian Cross sat stiffly at a corner table. He wasn't just any man. He was a single dad, a self-made CEO, and a millionaire who built his empire from nothing after his wife's tragic passing. Adrian wasn't here for business tonight. For once, he was just a man searching for companionship. His best friend had convinced him to give blind dating a try. But what Adrian didn't know was that not everyone in the room wanted him to find love. At the bar stood Lena Hartfield, a struggling waitress and part-time student. She wasn't dressed in her usual uniform tonight. Instead, she wore a sleek black dress someone else had paid for. A man named Victor Hale, Adrian's rival in both business and reputation. Victor had promised Lena a shocking sum of money to do something cruel. Sit across from Adrian, sabotage the date, and humiliate him. Lena's rent was overdue. Her younger brother needed school supplies. She felt trapped, so she agreed. When Adrian saw her approach, he stood instantly, his manners impeccable. "Miss Hartfield, I presume?" Lena froze. She hadn't expected his eyes to be so kind. She had imagined a cold, arrogant CEO, the type Victor had described. Instead, Adrian pulled out her chair with genuine respect. As the night unfolded, Lena tried. She really did to play her part. She made awkward jokes, pretended to be uninterested, even staged a clumsy spill of wine across the table. But Adrian didn't frown. He didn't snap at the mess. He simply smiled softly, handed her a napkin, and said, "Accidents happen. Let's not let it ruin the evening." That simple act of kindness cracked Lena's walls. The longer they talked, the harder it became to follow Victor's cruel plan. Adrian spoke about his daughter, Alara, a bright-eyed 8-year-old who loved painting and still asked if her mother was watching over them. His voice trembled with both grief and pride as he described raising her alone. Lena's heart ached. This wasn't a man to humiliate. This was a man who had already carried too much pain. At one point, Adrian noticed her silence. "You seem conflicted. If you'd rather leave, I won't be offended." Tears threatened Lena's eyes. "No, it's just, people don't usually talk about their families like you do. It's rare and refreshing." For the first time in years, Adrian felt seen. The night ended not in disaster, but in laughter. Adrian walked Lena outside, the cool night air wrapping around them. "I hope we can do this again," Adrian said quietly. Lena's stomach twisted. She hadn't told him the truth, that she had been paid to ruin this. Yet in his presence, her heart whispered something dangerous. "Don't break this man. Protect him." She nodded, forcing a smile. "I'd like that." And just like that, a night meant for destruction became the beginning of something neither of them could have predicted. She was supposed to ruin him, but instead she chose to save him. And that choice changed everything. The next morning, Lena's phone buzzed with a message from Victor Hale. "Well, did you humiliate him? Did you make the mighty Adrian Cross crawl? Meet me at noon for your payment." Lena's chest tightened. She hadn't done it. She couldn't. And now, refusing meant Victor would come after her. By noon, she sat trembling in Victor's sleek office. He leaned back in his leather chair, a cruel smirk curling his lips. "Don't tell me you got soft, Lena. Don't tell me you actually liked him." When she stayed silent, Victor's eyes hardened. "You failed. Which means you owe me. And trust me, you don't want to make an enemy out of me." For a moment, Lena thought she was doomed. But then, Adrian's face flashed in her mind. The way he had spoken of Alara, the kindness in his eyes. She realized something. Adrian didn't need another betrayal in his life. He needed someone brave enough to stand beside him. So Lena stood. Her voice shook, but her words didn't. "No, Victor, I won't be part of your schemes anymore. And one day, you'll regret underestimating him." Victor laughed, but there was rage behind his smile. "We'll see about that." Days later, Adrian invited Lena to his home for dinner, mostly for Alara's sake. The little girl had begged, saying, "Daddy, Can the nice lady from the restaurant come? She makes you smile again. Lena brought homemade lasagna, her nerves tangled with guilt. She hadn't confessed the truth yet. But as she watched Adrian kneel to help Alara tie her shoelaces, something in her broke. She wanted to protect this fragile but strong family more than anything. Over dinner, she finally whispered, "Adrian, there's something you don't know. That night, I wasn't supposed to meet you. I was sent there, paid to—" Her voice cracked. "Paid to ruin your date." Silence filled the room. Alara's fork clinked against her plate. Adrian's expression darkened, but then softened when he saw Lena's tears. "Yet you didn't," he said quietly. "No," Lena whispered, "because you deserve love, not cruelty. And I couldn't hurt you." Adrian studied her for a long moment. Then, instead of anger, he offered something Lena hadn't expected. Forgiveness. "You had a choice," he said, "and in the end you chose kindness. That tells me more about who you are than any mistake you made." Tears streamed down Lena's cheeks. In that moment, she realized Adrian wasn't just a man she admired. He was a man she wanted to fight for. Together, they decided not only to move forward but to expose Victor's schemes. With Adrian's resources and Lena's inside knowledge, they compiled evidence of his corruption, his bribes, his sabotage, his threats. When the truth finally surfaced, Victor's empire crumbled. And Adrian, he didn't just win in business. He gained something far greater: trust, love, and the promise of a new beginning. As weeks turned into months, Lena became more than a guest at the Cross household. She became part of their lives. She helped Alara with homework, laughed with Adrian over late-night coffee, and for the first time in years, felt like she belonged somewhere. And though the story had begun with betrayal, it ended with healing. Adrian once said, "Life isn't about who tries to break you. It's about who chooses to build you back up." Lena chose to build, and together they rebuilt something beautiful.